Hello, aspirants. Welcome to the Hi-Fi of the Day, Daily Current Affairs by Alchemy IAS Institute. I am Suhas, and we are going to discuss the five most important news topic of the day. There is a growing discussion about the 129th Constitutional Amendment for the proposal of one nation, one election. First of all, what is this one nation, one election proposal? Simultaneous election will be happening for both Union Parliament and state legislative assemblies, like for both Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies. So the intention behind is to reduce the uh, complicated process of election, like reduce the burdens of election and saving budget expenditure for election and better regime change, all these things. But the issue raised by former Supreme Court judges, these provisions are unconstitutional, will give unconstitutional powers to the Election Commission. So for with the proposed amendment, this bill proposes that the Election Commission will have a power to recommend the president that the election for the state legislative assemblies can be held till the new time for a Lok Sabha election happen. So what will happen, like when a legislative assembly uh, cannot continue, like when the government fails to complete the 5-year term of a state legislative assembly, so that assembly will be dissolved. Then after that, what will happen, that assembly, that state has to wait till the new Lok Sabha election come. That till that time, the election will be hold on that basis, and the election commission will have this unconstitutional power to hold the election, and this is actually a violation of the uh, like provisions of the Representation of People's Act, and it lacks the check and balance on the Election Commission's power. Like the Election Commission will get this power, and there is no other authorities or office there to check and balance the Election Commissioner's power. So the Parliament is actually having an oversight over this Election Commission, but still there is no other uh, institutional mechanism is there, and it is violation of Article 14. Like when one state's election is being held for a period of like more than like this till a new Lok Sabha election comes, this is actually a violation of the Article 14, that equality before law and equal protection of law. So what is the legal and democratic implementation happening here? Like the representation of people, that like it is getting violated, and when we are changing this constitution, what will be the legal and democratic implication will happen, and what are the potential solution for this? Like we should bring a check and balance system for the election commission, and this proposal in the 129 amendment should be like recheck. Recently, the UNESCO added the Maratha military's landscape of India as the 44th UNESCO World Heritage Site of India. India's 44th World Heritage Site. So, what is the important? What are the like? What is this Maratha's military landscapes? Which are the sites which got added in the UNESCO's World Heritage Sites? 11 sites from Maharashtra is added, like Salher, Shivineri. These sites are important because, like, we can expect questions from these locations, these sites, because this is recently in news, and we can expect questions in UPSC prelims. The sites are Salher, Shivneri, Lohgad, Khanderi, Raigad, Rajgad, Pratapgad, and Suvarnadurg, Panhala, Vijayadurg, and Sindhudurg. These are 11 sites from the Maharashtra, and one from Tamil Nadu, that is Ginge Fort. So what is the importance? What are the like peculiarities of this Marathas military landscape? Like it is not like the Mughal architecture, like ornamental, colorful. Maratha military landscape is like these forts are built to defend the country, defend the Maratha Empire, and fight against the enemies. So the fort is being designed in a way that it is utilized the geographical peculiarities of the Western Ghat and the hilly regions, and that suitable for defending the enemy with a minimum troop, and it is very like convenient for conducting this guerrilla warfare, which was introduced by the Shivaji, who was a founder of the Maratha Empire. And Shivaji believed that whoever controlling the fort will control the nation, will control the country. So he gave utmost importance to fort. So he have already he conquered, or else like built almost 160 fort in Maharashtra. So this fort military landscape is important for the UPSC perspective. Nominated members in Rajya Sabha. 4 members are being nominated to Rajya Sabha recently. 4 members, and how these nominated members? Like first of all, why this nomination is needed? Why nominated members in Rajya Sabha? 12 members are eligible for, like, out of the Lok Sabha seats, 12 members are being nominated by the President of India from the field of literature, arts, science, and social work. The constitutional provision says that Article 83 says that the nomination must be eminent person of literature, science, art, and social services. And Constitutional Provision 80, Article 81A says that the President nominates these 12 members to the Rajya Sabha. These two articles are important in the case of a nominated members in Rajya Sabha. So why this nomination is important? Like, some expert who having this immense knowledge in this field, but they may be lacking the political support, so they cannot contest an election like other Rajya Sabha MPs are doing. So we want those members to the Rajya Sabha. That's why we are bringing this. We brought this nomination system to Rajya Sabha. So how this nomination system works, like how other members are being elected to Rajya Sabha. They are elected by indirect election, and the election process is proportional representation by single transferable vote, and the electors are the state legislative assembly members, like MLAs, members of the state legislative assemblies. But these members are not sitting for they are not contesting an election. These members are directly, that nominated members are directly nominated by the President of India. What is eco-sensitive zone? Eco-sensitive zone is a buffer zone for a national park. That very important, environmentally important conservative area. Like outside that area, a buffer zone will be there. That is eco-sensitive zone. So they are like buffer zones around the national park or wildlife sanctuaries, and designed to, why they are so? They are designed to reduce the regulate the certain human activities like near protected areas to safeguard this biodiversity, like mining, heavy industries. These are not permitted in the eco-sensitive zone. So whatever these kind of limited human interactions are like allowed, like tourism and some renewable energy in like settlements, these are permitted, and agriculture, rainwater harvesting, these are permitted. But mining or heavy industries or polluted environment, these are not permitted in eco-sensitive zone because they are buffer zones. So like inside that buffer zone, that eco-sensitive zone, inside that buffer zones is wildlife and sanctuaries or national park will be there. So there will not be any impact or any human interaction inside this national park or wildlife sanctuaries. That's why we keep buffer zones like this, and it is created under the Environment Protection Act of 1986. So what are the key legal provisions? Article 48A says that the state shall protect the environment and wildlife. It is in DPSP. And Wildlife Conservation Strategy 2002 first proposed it. First, it proposed the eco-sensitive zones, and Ministry of Environment and Forest guidelines in 2011, its demarcation and a guideline framework for eco-sensitive zones. And Supreme Court direction of Supreme Court order in 2022 says that if not notified, the eco-sensitive zone will be 10-kilometer radius. That 10-kilometer is the eco-sensitive radius by the by default, by Supreme Court says that. Recently, there is a discussion about the ordinary resident. Like when the Bihar electoral roll is being updated, who are the ordinary residents? What is the constitutional provision for an ordinary resident? That Section 19 of Representation of People Act says that it's not constitutional provision, it's a legal provision. A person must be an ordinary resident in a constituency to eligible to be included in the electoral roll. So for voting, that person should be an ordinary resident. And Section 20 of the Act says that defines the condition under which a certain person should be ordinary resident. And exception, what are the exceptions? Like ordinary resident is a person who is having a dwelling place in that area, that constituency, and ordinary, like normally living in that area, that are ordinary resident. Temporary absence for a job, these things will not be making a person ineligible for being an ordinary resident. So what are the exceptions for this? It defines armed forces personnel, government employees, or it's like NRIs, or the constitutional provisions holding people. They have some exceptions. In the case of NRIs, they have to like state their intention to be continued in as an ordinary resident of that area. Then only they will be continuing. So who is an ordinary resident? Someone who possesses a dwelling place in a constituency and resides there regularly. Temporary absence, example for work, does not disqualify someone from being considered a ordinary residents. Finally, current affairs drill question of the day. With reference to the ordinary resident, in the context of the Representation of People Act 1950, consider the following: a person must be considered ordinary resident in a constituency only if they have lived there continuously for past 6 months. One provision: member of these armed forces are not considered ordinarily resident in their places for posting Non-resident Indians, NRIs, can be registered as a voter in India if they declare an address in India, even if they resides abroad. So, which of the statements given above is or are correct? The options are given here. Comment your right answer below the comment section.